What would it take to change the world? Provide food to the hungry and water to the thirsty. Teach children to read and keep them healthy. Shelter families and train a new generation. Give the poor a chance to better themselves. Create a worldwide network of peacemakers and conquer a disease that has killed or crippled millions. Could one person do it? What about 1.2 million?
My name is Frank Wessel.
Tamara DeWitt.
Gaston Cabat. Pedreta.
Eu sou Adélia Vilas.
Dr. Naresh Goya.
Meu nome é Awal Mau.
Gary Parrish.
Warren Kaufman.
Lisa Simmons.
Eric Kemani.
Meu nome é Eduardo.
Singh Arora.
Megan Coutinho.
These men and women are changing the world. They're members of Rotary. Professionals and community leaders organized into more than 32,000 clubs worldwide. They volunteer at the local, regional, and international levels and dedicate themselves to a simple motto: service above self.
That's what Rotary is all about. Vision to see, faith to believe, and courage to act.
So many of us, we sit back and we go, gee, I'd really like to help somewhere in the world, but I don't know how to do it. And Rotary gives you all the tools you need.
Personalmente tengo.
Just the fact that you are a Rotarian opens doors all over the world.
For members of Rotary, no project is too big. Working with UNICEF, the World Health Organization, and the CDC, Rotary has immunized more than 2 billion children against polio and reduced the disease by more than 99% worldwide.
With not too many dollars, these Rotarians and our partners are doing a tremendous job, very effectively, very efficiently.
Rotary has spent more than $500 million on international scholarships and foreign exchange, while its graduate-level programs in conflict resolution train peacemakers from around the world.
When I started working for Interpol at the United Nations, I already had the background to understand international relations.
For Rotary members, the reward is immense and immediate.
Helping others is one of the things that they really enjoy. It makes my day.
The salary I receive spiritually is so huge that you cannot put a value on it.
Being a Rotarian is almost selfish. Yes, I help people, but I get so much in return.
When our world seems senseless and even hopeless, Rotary Club members of all races, colors, and creeds join together to care.
Hopefully we can bring some hope and some help, emotionally as well as physically.
To protect.
The job that is to be done can be done.
To connect.
But no one has a dry eye at the end of these projects because the kids will come back and ask for a picture with their doctor.
And to make a difference.
It is possible because we are Rotarians. We can do it. We should do it.
But even for 1.2 million volunteers, changing the world is no easy task. Learn how you can become involved.
It only takes a drop to make a river. And all we have to do is just make sure that we are in the right direction, we are committed to it, and it will get done.
Rotary International. Ordinary people working together to accomplish extraordinary things.
Welcome to Rotary. With your unique skills and perspective, you are joining a global network of problem solvers, drawn together by a desire to make a difference. Together, we can be bolder. When you share your ideas and connect with others, it's not just your community that benefits. You'll grow as a leader and feel a shared sense of purpose that comes from finding lasting solutions to big problems. Get involved in a way that's meaningful to you. Find a mentor. Sign up for a training. Volunteer in a service project. Or attend a global event. You are now connected to 1.2 million people of action who unite to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Welcome to Rotary.
For over 100 years, Rotary members have taken action when challenges arise. We know what people can do when they come together and put others before themselves.
The team lead said they will continue the campaign to fight against the coronavirus.
Local Rotary clubs deliver food and supplies to people in need.
Strangers become friends, helping hands multiply, and problems turn into solutions. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
We've been here before, fighting the problems that fight back. But we can shift the status quo, because we see opportunities where others see obstacles. We're change makers and problem solvers, uniting over 1 million minds to address complex issues facing communities around the world, including yours. With passion and purpose, we've led the efforts to put an end to polio. Now eradication isn't just possible, it's plausible. Every day we're investing in a new generation of leaders so we can continue to provide access to clean water, tackle global health concerns, support education, and build the foundations of peace across borders. We're working together as partners and professionals while making friendships that last a lifetime. We're Rotary, and there's no limit to what we can do.
Our vision for the Rotary Foundation began 100 years ago. At Rotary's 1917 convention, President Arch Klump proposed an endowment for doing good in the world. His dream expanded the reach of Rotary far beyond the club. A contribution of $26.50 launched our foundation's endowment, A century later, we've spent more than $3 billion on humanitarian efforts worldwide.
Every Rotary project anywhere in the world always started out with one person who had an idea. And then they were able to grow and develop that idea by using that powerful network of Rotary to really change the world.
We are active, we are effective, we are really alive.
Our foundation has always been dedicated to improving lives. The first grant provided aid to disabled children. Today, we are on the verge of ending polio.
Et lorsque je vois une mère me sourire après avoir donné le vaccin à son enfant, cela comble ma journée de joie. Parce que j'ai la conviction que cet enfant ne sera jamais handicapé.
Without Rotary, this polio campaign wouldn't be anywhere. And the incredible effort that's been made from the very beginning is really unprecedented.
In the wake of a world war, we made a global impact by funding scholarships for international study. Today, we train the next generation of global peacemakers.
The Rotary Peace Fellowship takes people who have the desire to learn and gives them that opportunity.
Good intentions alone are not sufficient. This is one of the most important things an international organization like Rotary should do.
We all see this as a passion. We've got to do something for change. Not only for young people today, but of tomorrow.
Rotary is dedicated to personal and professional connections, so we created Group Study Exchange to build international understanding. Today, our foundation supports vocational training teams around the globe.
You turn the dial until this color matches this color.
The VTT program allows people to bring specific skills to improve another country.
Rotarians wanted to broaden their impact, so our foundation began funding their projects. A decade later, we began supporting larger projects to address health, hunger, and other humanitarian needs. Today's large-scale grants are measurable and sustainable. They allow us to tackle humanity's greatest challenges. "100 years ago, Arch Klump had a vision. His vision has become our legacy.
The Rotary Foundation is a great tool to transform the world.
That's what Rotary is all about. Vision to see, faith to believe, and courage to act.
The Rotary Foundation. We are doing good in the world. Let's continue for the next 100 years.
You're a Leewood. You know what that means?
We work hard and we give back.
You know, someday this apple tree will be bigger than I am. We're leaving the future behind today. You'll see.
Giving to Rotary's endowment ensures life-changing programs will benefit generations to come. Your legacy is Rotary's promise.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action. In communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at Rotary.org.
Good afternoon, family of Rotary and guests, and welcome to today's session on Infinite Possibilities, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, celebrating our diversity. Infinite Possibilities is presented by Rotary District 6960 and is co-sponsored by Rotary Zones 33 and 34. I am Stephanie Urchick, Rotary International Director for Zones 33 and 34, and I am so very proud of this membership initiative and the conversations that we've been sharing on the topic of DEI. Our team has produced multiple seminars highlighting extraordinary guest speakers, and we appreciate everyone's involvement. Today will be no exception. It's clear to us that in order to grow Rotary, we need to consider how important it is to reach everyone who wants to serve their communities and who wants to join the greatest organization in the world, Rotary. It's my pleasure to introduce the District Governor for 6960, Daryl Keys. Daryl's vision for infinite possibilities has exceeded all our expectations. So Daryl, on behalf of the entire family of Rotary, we thank you. And I now turn it over to you.
Thank you, Rotary International Director Stephanie. And we'd like to welcome the over 2,000 participants who have registered to join us today. Our Infinite Possibilities membership initiative has come a long way. We've highlighted so many amazing guest speakers throughout our production, but today we have saved the very best until last. We're extremely honored to have Rotary International President Holger Knaack with us today to share his vision for Rotary membership growth and retention. We also have Rotary International Director Peter Kyle and Rotary Youth Exchange alum Anna Ekbach from Sweden to share celebrating our diversity as part of today's presentation. Before I begin President Holger's introduction, however, I would like to review the ground rules as we anticipate many questions today. Please go to the Q&A box and type in your questions. We have a Rotarian coordinating this process, and once our guests have completed their presentations, we will begin the Q&A process. Please be patient as we have an amazing number of registrations. We will get to as many questions as possible today. Also, please feel free to share any comments you may have in the chat box, as we save information for reference, as well as record each presentation, and we will do our very best to respond to everyone in a timely fashion. Now, I'm extremely honored to introduce our guest speaker today, Rotary International President Holger Knaack. President Holger has quite an impressive resume, but has graciously asked us to forego the formalities and simply introduce him as a member of our Rotary family. President Holger, thank you for joining us today, and the show is all yours.
Thank you very much, Daryl. It's a really great honor to be with all of you here, sitting at home in Germany, like all of you. You know, Rotary opens opportunities. When I choose this theme, I had no idea how important this would be in times like today. And we all know, that's why we are here today, membership is our first priority. What is important for us as Rotarians? Of course, our core values: service, integrity, fellowship, diversity, and leadership. All of them are important. No pick and choose is possible. But allow me today to pick. And for that, please, I will start with what I said at the International Assembly. It's long ago, our last great event. And I said, whatever it is, we must always be aware of our special responsibility. Because in Rotary, we stand for values of diversity, equality, tolerance, and peace. Tolerance today is a relevant concern in so many parts of the world. Rotary is not political, and it must stay that way. But when things obviously go wrong, we cannot look away. Rotarians must not be speechless. We stand by our values and our four-way test. And we are measured not only by our actions, but also by our attitude. Dear friends, I had no idea how important this would become just a couple of months later, when things accelerated after the murder of George Floyd. And a wave started over the world. And many organizations start to think about that, to do the right thing. Rotarians could be proud because we launched our diversity, equity, and inclusion statement already more than 2 years ago. So we were ready. What right now is important is to take action, because just having a statement, that's not enough. That's why we have our diversity, equity, and inclusion task force. starts with an assessment around the world and to look where we are today. And because we are not able to do this alone, PricewaterhouseCoopers is helping us to look in our own mirror. You know, Rotary is so different everywhere, country by country, culture by culture, and even in your area here, no Rotary Club is like the others. And also diversity is so different, country by country, and also culture by culture. It's so different scene. For example, being in an event in Indonesia, it's quite normal that if you're sitting for the meal, there are men and women are on different tables. That's the culture, and I think that's okay. You know, when we are talking about inclusion today and what it means for us and how important it is, and it's I just wrote in a German newspaper an article about that, and there was a really, what I found, good explanation between diversity and inclusion. She said, diversity, that's being invited to a party. Inclusion is if someone asks you to dance. That's much closer, much more important. You know, it's about belonging and feeling valued. I think the best way to think about that is imagine you are the one being together with different people. How does this affect us? How do we think about that? Isn't it terrible? So I think that's our way right now, really to change our culture in Rotary and to see what we can do in this direction, because that's definitely our future. That's racism, unfortunately, is to be found everywhere. We have to look and to fight against that. Racism, discrimination. It's also like diversity. It's different in every culture, totally different. And we must fight that. I said once, there is no place for racism and all kinds of discrimination in Rotary. But dear friends, that's obviously, naturally. But I think nowhere is a place for racism and discrimination. And whenever we see that and whenever we hear that, we have to fight against racism and discrimination. What is helping is our four-way test. And probably many of you already heard me thinking about the first question. Is it the truth? Because sometimes you don't know if it's the truth. If you're going on the internet or hearing, well, sometimes politicians are talking. But it's about self-reflection. It's about asking ourselves. That's the whole reason for the four-way test. And I like in addition to the first question, what I think is really important, and that's, is it the truth? Am I being honest? Am I doing the right thing? And whenever we are, I think those, again, am I being honest and am I doing the right thing? And whenever we are seeing discrimination, and we see that very often. If you read, sometimes people are talking silly things, and Rotarians have to stand up and to speak against that. I think that's our responsibility, and that's not political. That's our responsibility as a human. All of you know I'm so much concerned about tolerance right now. And what we see today is more selfishness between countries. All countries in the world are just getting the most vaccine doses against COVID-19 they can have. And many others are leaving behind. I think it's important. I'm asking you, please also look and advocate for a fair distribution of vaccines, because that's also our responsibility. And keeping everything alone and leave Africa and East Asia alone without any vaccines. That's also a part of discrimination, what we are doing there. So again, whenever you're hearing discrimination and racism, Rotarians, every Rotarian has to stand up and to speak against that. And it's easy for us being in safe countries, in really settled democracies. It's easier for people who are not in this position. And there are many examples in this world where they are not allowed to say what they think, some of them going into jail. We have to think about that. And our way to strengthen them is to stand with them, to make service projects with them, to let them feel that you are not alone as a Rotarian. This is important. How can we change our Rotary clubs when we are talking about diversity, inclusiveness? And it's not just about gender diversity or age diversity or diversity in professions. We have to look for people we normally left behind, people from different backgrounds. I think that's important, and that's something, yes, all of us has to work on that, yeah, as a community of Rotarians who are taking care. That's another point I would like to share with you because it's so important for me, and that is care. For me, care is the foundation of peace. It starts always taking care of your family members and taking care of your neighbor next door, but also taking care of your neighbors beyond the borders. That's definitely the foundation of peace. And taking care of our fellow Rotarians who are struggling in difficult times like today. I think that's also part of our responsibility. Taking care of our communities, helping our communities, local and international, that's also natural, and obviously that's also our duty. So I think there are so many responsibilities for us as Rotarians, but that's why we are Rotarians, and that's why we are working and stand up for a better world. And with this, I would like to end when we are talking about Rotary clubs with what I'm very often say, and that's Rotary is not just a club that you join. Rotary is an invitation to endless opportunities. Thank you for listening to me. And now I have the honor to move and to give the floor to Director Peter Kyle. And I'm quite sure, Peter, there's no introduction necessary to introduce you. So please, Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Holger. Thank you for a very inspiring message. Delivered, as always, with enthusiasm and a wonderful smile. We are so glad to have you leading our wonderful organization. And thank you for your kind introduction. So there's no doubt that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a call to all here in the United States. And in zones 33 and 34, there are many current and emerging leaders actively working to broaden and diversify the ways we Rotarians reach out to engage and serve local communities and invite new members. I'm truly delighted to have an opportunity to speak to you this afternoon within the bounds of a gathering devoted to infinite possibilities. This concept or philosophy of the infinite and endless possibilities has existed for millennia. It has gained new meaning in an age when access to information, technology, and global communications is at our fingertips. And it is a spirit that has always meant something to me, thanks to Rotary. It was as a young man from New Zealand that I received a Rotary Ambassadorial Scholarship to travel for the first time to the United States and attend graduate school at the University of Virginia. I believed then that life is full of infinite possibilities if you dream big. And what I now know, with more experience under my belt, is that when you take a big dream and build on it, by leveraging the power of Rotary to mobilize people and financial resources, you get something that is way beyond your initial dream. So it is in that spirit that I'm delighted to share with you today the exciting news of a large-scale initiative in zones 33 and 34 called Youth and Peace in Action, engaging young community peace builders, or YPA for short. One wow of this news is that YPA is quickly being recognized as the single largest peace-building initiative in the history of Rotary International. Let me repeat, YPA is being recognized as the largest local peace-building initiative in the history of Rotary International. A second wow is how this initiative continues and builds on Rotary's 100+ year of history of peace advocacy. Rotary has long been dedicated to promoting international understanding, goodwill, and peace. Rotary was a voice for peace as both World War I and World War II approached. Rotary was present at the founding of the United Nations and continues to have special consultative status within that organization. With the Rotary Peace Centers in place for more than 15 years, nearly 1,500 Rotary Peace Fellowships have been provided, making Rotary one of the world's largest providers of peace-related graduate education and professional development. More than 140 Rotary Peace Fellows call zones 33 and 34 home. And today, peace and conflict prevention and resolution is one of our 7 areas of focus. Peace is truly in our DNA. And where did I learn all of this? Well, I served for 4 years on Rotary's Peace Centers Committee and chaired that committee for 3 years. I also served as the Dean of the Rotary Representative Network, the body that oversees Rotary's relationships with the United Nations and other international organizations. You could say that these opportunities became, for me, a Rotary field of dreams of infinite possibilities for peace. As the opportunity for me to serve as Rotary International Director approached, I began to share this vision, but with a twist, a focus on putting young people in our communities at the center of peace education and building a sustainable culture of peace. I turned to 2 remarkable collaborators, Patricia Schaefer, the Executive Director of UGen Peace Builders and a Senior Fellow for Peace Education at the Alliance for Peace Building, and Anna Patel, former Chief Executive Officer and current Senior Advisor to Outward Bound Peace Building. Both Patricia and Anna completed their Rotary Peace Fellowships in the Professional Development Program at Chulalongkorn University in Thailand. Both have devoted their careers to experiential youth and community peace education programs, and both have significant experience working and collaborating with Rotarians in both our zones. And the more we exchange ideas, the more my dream became a reality. Last year, between August and December, 22 of the 31 districts in our 2 zones contributed funds for the establishment phase of YPA, and hundreds of district and club leaders contributed ideas and experience to finalize the plan. 2 weeks ago, on April the 7th, we officially launched Youth and Peace in Action and called for zones 33 and 34 and potential partners in the community and nationally to ride on the peace train with us. And to me, the timing of this initiative has never been more important. Polarization is widespread. Democracy is under siege. The report Educating for American Democracy calls for re-engaging and supporting schools, teachers, and students. in developing club, civic, and community engagement. So what exactly is Youth and Peace in Action, YPA? Essentially, there are 4 parts, each supported by local funding and volunteers across the districts in zones 33 and 34. In the next school year, YPA will include, firstly, a virtual event on the International Day of Peace, September the 21st, 2021, in which thousands of Rotarians, teachers, and students will be invited to join the YPA Peace Train. Second, online peace education training for multiple schools and youth service organizations in the fall semester of 2021. Thirdly, virtual facilitated peace project training and implementation in the spring semester of 2022 for service-minded students who have completed the online certification process. And 4, finally, a final united celebration in May of 2022 to share peace project results with communities and to host community learning dialogues to reflect on the experiences and plan for the future. Between now and May 22, the anticipated impact on zones 33 and 34 could be as high as the participation of 875 schools and or service organizations in YPA, access of 35,000 students or more to an online peace education learning program, 5,000 students participating in peace project training, 500 peace projects designed and implemented by young people, 250 trained Rotary volunteer mentors supporting these young people, and 10,000 people celebrating in a final virtual presentation. Through this journey, young people will be equipped to imagine innovative solutions that build peace across issues such as hunger, homelessness, environmental pollution, and in-school relationships. They will develop new dialogue, leadership, and peace project management skills. And they will have new impressions of the relevance of Rotary in their lives. Hundreds, if not thousands of hours of experience, budgeting and planning have gone into developing the YPA initiative. Each participating district has or is about to appoint a point person and a committee to work directly with Rotary Peace Fellows Patricia and Anna and the rest of the YPA implementation team. Each district is putting its own unique spin on determining how best to reach out to schools, educators, and youth service organizations. The approach combines a broad, collaborative scale effort across the zones with a local, we know our communities implementation approach that respects and appreciates the unique realities and assets that make Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, West Virginia, Georgia, Georgia, Florida, Florida, and so on. As you can perhaps tell, I am truly energized by the infinite possibilities of zones 33 and 34, bringing peace education, training, and mentoring to our communities through YPA, and for Rotary to be recognized and appreciated for such an ambitious initiative. But one note, I'm also an ultimately practical person. I'm an ex-lawyer who worked in the World Bank after all. Planning, process, and minding my P's and Q's is part of my DNA. So I feel obliged to share 3 aspects of this journey that can make or break the effort, and they each depend on you. First, the vision includes giving Interact members priority opportunity to benefit and become certified young peace builders. So if you belong to a Rotary Club connected to Interact, spread the word so we can start creating excitement now. Second, if you are in a Rotary Club connected to an Interact Club or another youth service organization or a high school, please also spread the word so we can encourage applications before the end of this year. And last but not least, many participating districts are contributing district designated funds in this year and next year, and encouraging Rotary clubs to designate multi-club district funds to the effort. Please reach out to your district governor and your district governor-elect and engage with your club. And there's one other key dimension to the YPA initiative, which I need to mention. YPA has a very important membership focus. Interactors and high school students are future Rotaractors and future Rotarians. I believe that there are over 400 Interact clubs in our two zones, probably in excess of 1,000 Rotaractors. Think of the potential impact of this peace-oriented group on Rotary's growth. Think of the PR impact that this initiative will have throughout the zones, and indeed throughout other parts of the Rotary world. In closing, as I said earlier, peace has long been in the DNA of Rotary. Rotarians have been social mobilizers for polio eradication, for literacy, and much more. Now we are uniquely positioned as well to be connectors and conveners, social mobilizers for peace education, training, and mentoring for young people. Please visit the website, www.youthpeaceaction.org. Again, that's www.youthpeaceaction.org, and social media to learn for yourself. There are plenty of seats remaining on the zones 33 and 34 peace train. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to hand you back to President Holger.
Thank you very much, Peter. It was really a great, inspiring message about our work for peace, our new programs, and including our youth and young adults programs into this. Thank you very much for that. And now, friends, I have the honor and privilege to announce our alumna, Anna Ekbeck, joining us today from London, England. Anna is originally from Sweden and started her Rotary career as a Rotary Youth Exchange student to Florida, to your area. She has grown professionally as an inspiring actress, performing in London and Sweden. And we are delighted to have Anna with us today to share her Rotary moment. Anna, the floor is yours, please.
Yay, thank you so much for having me today. It's very, very inspiring listening to all of you, what you have to say, and see that it's so many here to listen. So that's very great. I also want to say a very, very big thank you to past District Governor Cindy Dora, because she invited me to speak here today for you. As a Rotary Youth Exchange student, you spend up to a year living and attending school in a different country. District 6916 Florida made this possibility for me through the Rotary Youth Exchange program. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am forever grateful. My dream as a child was always to study abroad, and it felt like yesterday I wrote my application letter explaining my hunger to see and travel the world, get to meet new exciting people and experiencing, living and getting to know a different culture. For me, the Rotary Youth Exchange program stands for diversity, peace initiative, inclusion. And that's really important to me. It also stands for exchange. So what is the definition of exchange? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, exchange is a noun, giving and getting. Exchange means the act of giving something to someone and them giving you something else. We all do it every day without even thinking about it. You ask me a question, I hopefully know the answer. You give someone money in a shop, they give you the grocery you ask for. You as Rotarians gave me the opportunity to go as a youth exchange student a year abroad. In return, I got a whole life experience in 1 year. Exactly 1 year after I did my exchange program, I was asked by my Swedish Rotary Club to answer a form. And funny enough, when I was researching a little bit about today, I found this form, and I would love to share one of the questions and the answers that I found. The question followed: what value does youth exchange have to Rotary and the world? Let me repeat that so you can fully understand that question. What value does youth exchange has to Rotary and the world? My answer followed: to make connections and friends all over the world, to establish international relationship and cultural exchange. Being different is something that we might fear too much in today's society. We need to understand that it doesn't necessarily mean strange or odd. It rather expresses that something is unique or versatile, which is indeed a positive thing. Rotary gave me the opportunity to live with 3 different families, go to a different school, meet with different people from different cultures, and go to different places. Thanks to this program, my perspective of the world has widened, and I've come to realize that variety makes the world interesting and beautiful. Last but not least, it is an indescribable feeling to have a huge family spread out all over the world that you genuinely love. Reading this the other night got me very emotional, because despite the world moving 8 times around the sun, despite me being a little bit older and hopefully wiser, the answer to that question couldn't have been more accurate and up to date. For me, that answer stands exactly for diversity, peace initiative, inclusion, and also this through some sort of exchange. Diversity, recognizing value of accepting diversity, equity, and inclusion through Rotary. Like I said before, being different or looking different or having different cultural experiences than someone else is something that we may fear too much in today's society. I learned by traveling and meeting all the other cultures and people from all over the world and country that it is important and beautiful to exchange diversity, teaching what you know, learning what you don't know. It's giving and getting. Diversity rather expresses that something is unique and versatile, which is indeed a positive thing. Peace initiative, a better world. We live in an amazing time to effect positive change. Rotary, as an organization, stands for that positive change. If everyone would just do their very best every day, this world would turn. If we choose to be kind, helpful, and positive in everything we do, this world will be a better place. Like I said before, Rotary gave me the opportunity to live with 3 different families, go to a different school, meet with different people and different cultures, and see different places. Thanks to this program, my prescription of the world has widened, and I've come to realize that variety and exchanging variety will indeed start to create peace. To exchange peace initiative, always give someone a helping hand, but don't also be a friend to ask when you need it. I would like to end this speech with inclusion. Inclusion, because you don't have to be an exchange student to be a part of an exchange year. Because when it comes to exchange year, it has the World Exchange in it. So we all need to just be included and help out. You and so many people I met throughout my exchange year have changed everything. They have changed the world I see, they've changed the food I eat, and it's all because of the exchanges. And if I went to Florida and I didn't have anyone to exchange that experience with, it wouldn't be it would be nothing. So I'm just so grateful for everyone I met that I still call my family today. And I still keep in touch with, even though I'm not a very good texter, but I really appreciate everyone so much that I met on my year. And by all of us doing this, we will all make this a better place and include more and more people in exchanging, learning, developing. I believe one person can make a change with help from one other person, like I said, through exchange. And I want to be that person. Want to join me? Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all, and I hope you will fulfill your dream to be the difference to make our world a better place through exchange. Thank you so much, and now I'm handing it back to Holger Knaack.
Thank you very much, Anna. This is an amazing story you told us, and probably all of you know Youth Exchange. That's my favorite program in Rotary. That's where my way in Rotary starts. And by the way, we hosted 43 Youth Exchange students, Suzanne and I. And Suzanne always said, this raises our level of tolerance. So thank you for that great speech, Anna.
President Holger, Director Peter, and Anna, I've really enjoyed listening to your insights and perspectives on how we celebrate our diversity. And President Holger, your vision for Rotary is really inspiring. And obviously, we really appreciate your words of encouragement to us all throughout the Rotary world. But now it's time to go to our Q&A session. And helping us with this process is past District Governor Pete Dorra. Over to you, Pete, for the first question.
So the first question I have is for Director Peter Kyle, and it's from a participant who says that they're the parent of children that are 14 and 11, and are asking how can those children get involved in the YPA program?
Well, thank you. Great question. And we'd be delighted to have both your children in the program. My suggestion is if you send me an email. My email address is peter.kyle@gmail.com, and we can discuss this offline, and I can give you chapter and verse as to how we can get you involved. We'd love to have you involved. What a great way to start off the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is for President Holger. You mentioned in the beginning of your talk Rotary's statement regarding the DEI, which was issued 2 years ago. The question is, what was the stimulus for Rotary to make that statement?
That's a good question. Thank you very much. I think that was for a longer time discussed in Rotary, that we need something because we stand for diversity. And as this issue raised more and more, and not just in the United States, everywhere, I think it was high time to have that statement. So again, we can be proud that it's initiative so early and not just after things accelerated here in your country.
Thank you. How would you estimate Rotary is currently doing in achieving its diversity, equity, and inclusion goals?
Yes, that's first of all, we are doing an assessment with this diversity, equity, inclusion task force, and with help of PricewaterhouseCoopers. If we have more data, I think then it's our action is reaching out to districts and clubs. Start, train people everywhere, and we all know that clubs are autonomous, and that's good. But that means for us, we have to train governors more in this direction and to train club presidents. This is our next action step here, to let them know. I think everybody knows how important it is, to let them know how single steps they can do by looking for new members. And it's not just looking for new members, it's also about preparing your club to open your doors. I think that's what I'm asking clubs right now. Look for if your meeting time fits to everybody. Look if your costs are reasonable. High costs would really exclude so many people from being member of a Rotary Club. Look for your procedures. I think now is the time. If many people are still in lockdown, now is the time to put everything on the test and make your Rotary Club ready for more inclusiveness and ready for the future.
So President Holger, we know that some traditional Rotary clubs can be resistant. Do you have any tips for how we can encourage a traditional club to embrace diversity?
Believe me, I'm knowing many of them. And even if I'm proud of our strong and large Rotary clubs in Germany, and we are growing constantly, so always, but we have a lot to do in regarding diversity, and especially women in Rotary. So I know exactly what I'm speaking about. Yes, again, you have to repeat many, many times to convince clubs, and it becomes better, but too slow. But if really clubs are too old, and if the tracks are too deep that their turn is not possible, I think the only possibility, let's focus on new Rotary clubs. And there are so many great Rotary clubs in the pipeline. And I'm so proud that even if in times of lockdowns, people are starting to create course-based Rotary clubs and passport clubs. And I think I was very impressed being part of a course-based Rotary club in Australia about midwives and nurses worldwide. I think that's a totally new dimension in Rotary, because right now we can think big, being more on virtual platforms. And I think that's another way. Again, if clubs are not willing to change, are not able to change because they are too old, I think let's really focus on new clubs. And this will help both clubs, the old one and also, of course, the new one, because it will give Rotary in the community a different image. Thank you.
We know that there are some Rotarians who seem to regard this subject in a negative light. How do we encourage Rotarians to see this from a different lens than they may be viewing it through now?
I think, first of all, what I said, if they really think doing a self-reflection with a 4-way test, I think with this, every Rotarian and every human should think about this in a different way. And secondly, as I said, imagine you are in this position. What are you expecting from the others not to feel valued? I think probably it's a discussion in Rotary clubs one by one to convince people here. But I think the future shows us that there is no other way. If we think what societies are successful, these are open societies giving everybody the opportunity to grow. So the same in a Rotary club. These Rotary clubs will be definitely more successful.
We know that it can be particularly difficult for a minority member to stand up and speak out. What can we do to make that easier and to encourage the dialogue that needs to happen?
Yeah, that's a difficult question because situations are really everywhere different. I think first of all, you need courage to do that. And you need also in your Rotary club as club president or a member of the board or just as a Rotarian, you need the courage to move things. Sometimes it's difficult, but I think it's again convincing people in Rotary clubs. It's remind them of our 4-way test, of our core values. Diversity, it's not a wish list, it's part of our core values.
I think expanding on that a bit, what would you say to someone who feels that talking about diversity and inclusion is too political and is concerned that Rotary is going against its responsibility not to be political or a religious organization?
No, it's not a difficult question. as I said, discrimination is everywhere, and we have really to speak against discrimination. And that is definitely not political, not in the United States, not in Germany. There are countries, if you are speaking as an example for gay, you can go in jail. That's a different story. But we are talking about democracies. That's nothing is political here. Or everything is political. If we are discussing about poverty or illiteracy, that's indeed political. If we are talking about right now about a fair distribution of vaccines, that's of course political. But I think it's not, whenever we do statements in this direction, I think we cannot be stopped just by telling us that's political. I think Rotary shouldn't take side for political parties in countries. That's definitely, it's a no-go. That's a red line for me. Because that's political. But looking for the good, that cannot be political.
President Holger, how will we measure success in the area of DEI for Rotary?
That's an interesting question. And I know that the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force is exactly working on that. I'm quite sure there are no numbers all over the world because its diversity is seen different. And it's because of different cultures in different areas. So just looking for the percentage of women in Rotary clubs, that's not enough. That doesn't give a good picture. I think it can be seen just zone by zone regarding looking into Rotary clubs. And by the way, if I look at my own country, Germany, it's simply not allowed to track people by different races or colors, because, by the way, the phrase race is in Europe not be used, because we think there's just one human race everywhere. So I think it's difficult to measure because we can't ask people and count people for this everything. I think it's the duty of district governors when they are visiting clubs to have a look at that. And I think we will be measured by our success. Being more inclusive, having more diversity in Rotary clubs will bring more success. I think we will see it in growing membership numbers. Thank you.
We've been told that Rotary continues to charter clubs that have a single gender in their membership. Can you explain why this is and what you think, or whether you think it's good for Rotary?
So I don't think it's good. I can tell you the district. So I was district governor in 6-7. So there was not a written rule. There was a rule in our district leadership plan not to charter single gender clubs. I know that there are new clubs chartered in Korea, for example, women clubs. That's can be called diversity. I don't think that's the best way. But again, I think it's difficult for us to judge other cultures, other traditions, other countries. I would really suggest that we are doing the work, and there's a lot to do in our countries, you in the United States here, or whoever is on the call here. We try that in Germany. And I think it's reaching out to people, as I said in Korea, hey, think about that, what you can do to look for more and to thrive and to encourage clubs to do diversity in a different way.
Director Peter, we have another question regarding your YPA program. And the question is, what are the synergies that can be capitalized on between YPA and Partnering for Peace?
Well, great question. And there are definitely synergies. Partnering for Peace, as I understand it, is an organization that seeks to encourage older Rotarians to do a kind of post-Peace Corps volunteer experience. Many of the individuals involved are ex-Peace Corps volunteers. And I see a lot of synergy for people who are so inclined to become involved as mentors and become connected with the YPA initiative. I think the YPA, to use a phrase, has infinite possibilities. There are all sorts of ways that I think this initiative is going to expand beyond our two zones. I'm reaching out to other parts of America and other parts of the world. So we need people who are similarly inclined, and Partnering for Peace is a very reputable organization. I think there's all sorts of possibilities for greater synergies and greater alignment. So please, again, reach out to me, peter.kyle@gmail.com.
Thank you. President Holger, we have a question concerning your views about having Rotary utilize its 35,000 clubs to assist in distribution of the COVID virus vaccine.
Thank you for that. There's a very clear message from Foundation Chair Ravi Ravindran and I, asking all Rotary clubs around the world, helping the communities in their vaccination efforts. And there are so many great examples, especially in your country, where Rotary clubs are really doing a great work in helping in these vaccine centers to help to get the job done. And there are other great examples in Sri Lanka, for example. There is a Rotary club is running a whole center by itself. The doctors of the clubs are doing the shots, and all the other Rotary club members helping in organizing the whole the procedures. I think that's going on everywhere in the world. What we not can do, Rotary can't buy vaccines and distribute vaccines because that's done. I think that's done by governments, of course. But we are involved and in close contact with COVAX. COVAX is an initiative from WHO, UNICEF, and Gavi. And Rotary is helping this initiative to be also successful in other countries, Africa, Southeast Asia. So we are working close with them. And of course, we are advocating for a fair contribution of vaccines.
And President Holger, what has been the most satisfying part of your term as president?
The most satisfying part, minutes like this here. You know, it's I'm since 14 months here, sitting in front of the screen, and I'm reaching out to daily a couple of thousand Rotarians. I think that's amazing how this is possible today, and just because we are able to do it virtual right now. So yes, no doubt, I would love to meet you in person. I would love to shake hands with you, Daryl. I would love to hug people. But I think this is our opportunity to stay connected. And I think especially this difficult problems we are discussing here, this is perfect done on the internet, much better than sitting on tables, and because we have a larger audience here, and I love that. Okay, again, I would love to meet you in person, but we have to think and we have to wait a couple of months, probably years, before everything is back to normal. Thank you.
Well, President Holger and everyone else, we're very grateful for how generous you've been with your time and in sharing with us. But there's always more questions than we have time for. So now we're going to turn this back over to District Governor Darrell Keys to finish our program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Our 8 seminars, which we commenced in August of last year, have all been designed to introduce you to a great organization represented by incredible speakers from very diverse backgrounds. You know, Rotarians are people of action, and we also want you to take action. So we suggest the following. So please take a note of the contact information on each of the slides. So first, contact past District Governor Pete Dorrer to find out more information about the Rotary Action Group, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This action group is in the process of being created, and we're looking for great people to get involved. Second, As part of this series, we are supporting Rotary Zones 33 and 34 and the Rotary Works Initiative, started by Rotary International Director Stephanie Urchick to support Rotarians and Rotaractors experiencing career transition. Third, want to join Rotary? Contact past District Governor Cindy Dora or reach out to a local Rotary club to find out more. We need you, but more importantly, your communities need you. And fourth, strive to do more. Lean in and step up into a leadership position. Your clubs and your communities need you. Invite guests that don't look like you to join Rotary. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce our Infinite Possibilities Chair, past District Governor Cindy Dora, who's done a remarkable job throughout this 8 series of webinars. So thank you so much, past District Governor Cindy.
Thank you, Governor Darrell. Wow, wow, wow. What a grand finale. President Holger, inspiring, spot on, to the point. You addressed it. We cannot thank you enough. Director Stephanie, Director Peter. Wow, the support, our Governor Corps, and sweet Anna, thank you for your words of lifelong at such a young age. But boy, did you really hit the nail on the head as you talked about how important exchange is in the world. That perspective really is quite profound, and it means a great deal to us that each of you took the time to be with us in District 6960 and address people not only locally and throughout the zones, but we've had quite an international response as well. So thank you for that. We desperately hope each club will seek growth in their numbers by establishing a mirror image of their local communities. Look around you, so many opportunities out there. Help Rotary to change the discussion from what can't be done to what can be done within yourself, your club, your communities, and indeed around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last series for Infinite Possibilities in this Rotary year. You've been with us as we discussed adding women to Rotary as a membership initiative. And then we took on this controversial but so needed conversation on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Please remember that these series are all recorded, and you can go to the Zone website and find them. And you can use these programs, these series, as club programs. Remember, you want your members to know what's going on and hear about the great programs. So please go to www.rizones33-34.org/infinite-possibilities-videos. Once again, on behalf of District 6960 and Zones 33-34 and the entire Infinite Possibilities team, we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to a bigger tomorrow and growing Rotary through diversity, equity, and inclusion, but through friendship, as it's meant to be in Rotary. We are Rotarians. We are people of action. Thank you so much for being with us today. Have a great weekend. Bye now.